Welcome to the Illuminate Your Essence podcast, where we cut through the distractions, programs, and stories that have created chaos in your life and discover the truth, bliss, and joy that exists beyond the external clutter and resides within. Welcome to the Illuminate Your Essence podcast. This is Wendy Bunnell. Today we get to talk about money. A never-ending flow of money. Doesn't that sound great? We want it. Most of us want more, and many of us feel like there's never enough. It always seems like the harder we try to get it, the more it flows away from us. And so today I want to help you get to a starting place where money flows to you instead of you chasing the ever elusive source of money. And it took me years to discover how to have a beautiful dance with money. One where I honor and respect its ability to add value to my life, but I also understand that it will never be the source of happiness for which I'm trying to seek. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love traveling. It is one of my core love languages. I love to drive cars that feel like you're riding on air and you aren't in the mechanic shop once a month. I like bougie cars. I live in a sanctuary. I literally feel like I live in a sanctuary, a home that overlooks Red Rocks, my favorite state park. I find absolute peace here. But I also have surrendered to the fact that I am truly the most abundant when I can find joy in what is and not searching and chasing. That leads to frustration, overwhelm, and blocks the receiving of money. So would you like to know the secret of a never-ending flow of money? Okay, I would love nothing more to teach you something that I've fallen in love with. And I know that this can change everything for you. But I'm going to start off with a story. About a decade ago, I'd been working at a very stable nonprofit job for about 13 years. You know, the biweekly paychecks, the nice benefits, when I decided to take the plunge and start my own business, sharing something I really absolutely still love and adore, which is essential oils. I immediately gravitated to these amazing compounds that assisted me physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And so I naturally shared them from my heart, which led to me growing a great business very, very quickly. So it eventually became very evident that this was going to replace my income. In my upcoming book, Truth and Dare, Daring to Live Your Truth in a Fake World, I actually go into this in a lot of detail. But let's just make this more of a short story for this podcast and just suffice it to say that I was moving and expanding bigger than what my normal everyday job was allowing me to expand. So I moved towards this, and it took a lot of courage. It took a lot of me looking at myself and saying, do I choose me, and do I choose stepping into this new realm with not a safety net in place? So I did it. Cashed out my 401k, and that way I would have plenty of money. I was making a good source of income by sharing these oils. I was traveling around the country and I was teaching classes. It was amazing. It was my dream life. 4 months into this, I'm in Oklahoma City. I just finished up an entire day of back-to-back classes and just having massive success. I'm standing out by the pool and I get a phone call from my husband. And over the phone, I hear the words, "Wendy, I got fired today." And my heart dropped. I went, "What are you talking about? You have the most stable position in the whole world. You're a police officer for a small town police station. How in the world would you get fired? You have 2 life-saving awards. You have all of these accolades. How did you get fired?" Well, the bottom line is he did. And in that moment, I could have leaned into love, and that could have been like this fire to just go to the next level. But I laid in my hotel room that night, and fear covered me like this dark blanket of heaviness. And I recall feeling like I couldn't even breathe. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't breathe because I recognized that I had all the responsibility on my shoulders now. The way that it happened, he didn't even get severance. He didn't get unemployment. It was all down to this girl now. And I wasn't ready emotionally, mentally, spiritually for this. And the next day, I show up to my classes. I had more classes. But this time, I'm now in an energy of desperation. I had to sell those essential oils in order to make money, to pay my bills, to pay my mortgage. And it drove people and repelled people like I've never seen. Not one bottle of oil did I sell, not one package, nothing. Nobody wanted to join me in my business. Do you blame them? I mean, here I was going like, think about that. Think about that boy that liked you or girl that liked you in high school and junior high that just was so desperate to get your attention and they followed you around like a little puppy dog and it just irritated you. That was the energy I was putting out in my business. And my once thriving business tanked. It went downhill so fast. That was a really, really challenging segment of my life. It was so dark and so hard and so challenging. My husband went through an incredible emotional place where he was in getting fired from his job. Here I was trying to make a living from something I loved, and it was no longer a love. It was a chore. It was a duty. It was something I had to do. And in that experience, I recognized that the energy of what I was putting out made all the difference. And I'm so grateful for that experience because it helped me to understand and identify the blinders that were keeping me from really getting to the next level. What's beautiful about this story, it led me to other entrepreneurial pursuits, including my real estate business. And I'm ever so grateful for real estate because it opened me up to understanding abundance, understanding the flow of money, and allowing it to literally flow to me instead of me chasing it. And allowed me to learn how to surrender to what is and to follow my heart, but then to just allow that money to be attracted to like energy. So let's start with the basics. Money is simply energy, and like energy attracts like energy. Most people tend to be in scarcity right now and see what isn't there. And it makes sense because our brains are actually wired to find things that may impact our safety. And since money impacts our livelihood, it impacts everything. It would make sense that it would look at the money in our account or lack of money in our account and be concerned. However, if we play with physics and become abundant in how we show up each and every day, we will allow the flow of money to come to us instead of us chasing it down. And in order to do this, we must stay out of fear. Bottom line, we must stay out of fear. Staying awake at night, trying to figure out how you're going to pay the bills isn't going to align you with the actual energy to get you out of that bind. And working 2 more jobs will simply just wear you out and create frustration, hardship, and disconnect you from important relationships. I want to tell you this very clear, very plain. You will never get rich by doing more. Okay, I'm going to say that again. I repeat, you will never get rich by doing more. It is staying in an energy of abundance on a consistent basis that's going to allow your nervous system to settle down for you. Stop being stuck in that binary thinking that we get when we are overloaded and in our sympathetic nervous system, and start to open our minds up to solutions. The ideas, people, and finances will be able to flow to us because we aren't blocking it with our worry and fear. So how do we put this into practical application? Well, we start noticing what we do have. What is here right now? So when we eat a meal, We enjoy the sights, the smells, the texture, the flavor, and stay present in that feeling. We remember that we have food. We indeed have food. It's right in front of us. And that we paid for that food. And we are so grateful that we have the money to pay for that amazing food. When we pick up that coffee in the morning, we hand over the money and feel that incredible gratitude of having the money to pay for the coffee. And we enjoy every sip of that amazing coffee. We don't think about what is going to be deducted from our account and what we are left with. We're just simply so grateful for the fact that we had that to be able to share that with someone else in exchange for something we find of value. So here's when it gets a little bit more tricky. When we pay for the overpriced groceries that all of us are experiencing at the store, we can feel deep gratitude that we have the money in the account to pay for those groceries. And we recognize that we have never gone a day without food. I don't know anybody in my life that has literally starved. Maybe they've gone without 1 meal, 2 meals. Usually it's when they're talking about when they were little kids. But for the most part, and the majority of us, we haven't had to skip a meal because of money. And if we have, it wasn't for a very long time. So we have the money to go get those groceries. Isn't that amazing? Isn't it amazing that we do? And we do it without worrying about what is left over. It's like, oh, we get to pay for these. What an incredible experience it is that we have enough in that moment. We don't think about tomorrow. We don't think about tonight. In that moment, we have the money. When we fill up the car with gas, we can feel abundance in the fact that we just paid for that gas and that we have another 300 miles that we can drive and explore and have the freedom of having a car. That energy of having will bring additional opportunities, random checks in the mail, a different energy that even attracts people into our lives that just want to be with us because it feels so good to be around people that understand that they have everything they need. So let's talk about doing less and receiving more. Is that even possible? I mean, don't we need to slave over several jobs and save like responsible as humans do? Let's pay off all of our debt. Let's do the snowball. Let's do all the things, right? I'm going to tell you this, not if you want to be rich. You recognize that play is as important as work. You understand that energy improves as you connect and laugh and enjoy life. Money gravitates to that energy. I want you to tell you a little story. Last year, my business was literally exploding. I mean, that's a good thing, right? I had more clients than I had time. Isn't that a great problem? Well, it is unless you don't have the infrastructure to create, to have that many clients in your life. So it is until you're busting from the seams and you're exhausted. And I was last year. As I lay in a tub, I cried out to God and I just said, I'm so exhausted and I simply want to check out. I need to take this long extended break. I'm so tired. And I didn't want to work at all. I couldn't keep going at that pace that I had been moving. And the answer I received was so intriguing. It said, well, then stop. Why not stop? And I thought, what do you mean? I have clients relying on me. I can't simply go away. Think about this with your kids or whatever it is, your current employer. But I know how it works. I know how this works. I know how the law of financial abundance works. And so I kept asking myself, is it possible to take a long extended vacation? Is it possible to take off a month off in the busiest season of my business? What else is possible? What else is there? Because of course I was in binary thinking. When I relaxed and I asked those questions, it took me out of binary thinking and expanded my mind. Okay. And I thought about the Europeans and how they simply take a month or even 2 off at a time. And I yearned to have that. So I kept asking. And then the idea popped into my head. A person that was new in the area, also a realtor, also at my brokerage, and she was a joy. And well, she is a joy and has such an incredible personality. So I texted her and I said, hey, would you be open to collaborating in July? I have an idea if you want more business. Would you like to make more money? And she replied back enthusiastically, well, yeah. So we met and we laid out the exact split, the expectations, and she took over my business a week later for an entire month. So in the month of July last year, so this was 2021, I enjoyed 3 vacations. One in Oregon with my family, and we got to explore areas I'd never even been to or enjoyed. I turned off my phone. I can't tell you what a big deal that was for me. I literally legit turned off my phone. That's a big deal for me. And it goes off nonstop, or it did. It doesn't anymore because I put some parameters and boundaries with it. But then I also went on a vacation with my extended family in Hawaii, where my niece was getting wedding or having a wedding, not getting wedding, and had so many incredible memories. I can't even tell you. That was such an amazing trip. I took my older daughter without any grandkids. It was amazing. I got to be with my aunts and my mother and my siblings and my sister. Such an incredible vacation. And then it ended with a river rafting trip with over 100 youth. And I got to mentor some of the greatest kids I'd ever been around. But here's the best part. July happened to be my top grossing month in my business to date. And it wasn't because of the collaboration. In part it was, but it was already business that was happening. And it was just continued business that kept happening in my life. And it was amazing. It was magic, complete magic. To see that just continue to go up, even though I had totally unplugged. So what I thought was impossible was absolutely not just possible, but it was actually what catapulted me to the next level of my business. So what is even better is that you can start this. You can have this too. Abundance is our birthright. Each one of us has the ability to create whatever we want. So just because I am making more, don't be jealous, because you can have it too. Get out of your own way and start to expand your mind. So this is what you can do right now. When you pay that bill, do so with absolute gratitude that you can pay it. When you eat, enjoy every bite as you remember. You have never been a day without eating. Savor life, get up and dance if you need to shake off the stress or take a walk, and then get into a space of having. And you are going to start the process of having a never-ending supply of money. Even as I am shifting right now my focus on another stream of income, I notice that the more I stay out of worry, the streams of money keep flowing. I don't have to worry about where it's coming from. It just keeps flowing. So we're going to have a lot more money conversations on this podcast, okay? I want you to start there. We're almost to November, so this is a great topic to have with gratitude in our hearts. You're going to have an amazing November if you start that way right now. And most likely on the next podcast about money, we will discuss destroying our old toxic money stories and creating new ones. I'll most likely have my dear friend Jessica Elgin help us with that. So before I close, I want to announce something really exciting. My book, Truth and Dare, Daring to Live Your Truth in a Fake World, is being offered right now at a special pre-launch price or pre-order price of $33, which includes the book and an online digital course that accompanies it. So it's going to be much more than this after 11/11 when the book is actually launched. And so this is a limited time offer and will end on October 31st, 2022. So the link to that special will be in the show notes. And there's a link also on any of my social media platforms. You're going to see a link to my link tree. The very first option is this book and program bundle. So click on that and you'll have access to purchasing that. If for some reason you can't find it, go to Wendy, just email me, wendy@wendybunnell.com. I'll answer and I'll send you the link, or my assistant will send you the link. So thank you for tuning in this week. I hope that you see that you do have the ability to create never-ending flow of money. It is possible. It is your birthright, and I want you to start right now. I can't wait to continue the dialogue, the deep dive, and the discussion on next week's episode of Illuminate Your Essence. Namaste. Satnam, my friends. Thank you for listening. I invite you to continue the dialogue, the discovery, and the deep dive on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Also on my website. Feel free to download your free copy of the 5 steps to discovering your inner voice and begin your journey of discovering the truth within today.